Welcome to the Colorado State Volleyball Update. After a brief respite where everybody here on the staff made a PR in the Fortitude 10K, I know you did, we're back to talk about Colorado State Volleyball. Hi, everybody. Matthew Wozniak with the head coach, Tom Hilbert. Well, it's been a lot that we've talked about. A couple of tournaments are in the books. Let's begin going all the way back to the tournament that you hosted here. You end up 2-1, falling to the champion Cincinnati Bearcats, but you ran into three players that just seemed to play out of their minds, and that was basically what kept them ahead of you the entire time. How did your team play?
I thought we played okay. I thought that the Cincinnati match was a winnable match, though. We were within 2 points in two of the games that we lost. We won a game by 2. But we have to be better at end game situations. We're learning that as we go along. That's something we're going to have to drill on a little bit.
And we're going to talk about that with Colorado State's trip out to Michigan this past weekend. Again, 3 matches over the weekend. You got a victory over LSU in a sweep. You got a victory over the Golden Grizzlies of Oakland. Let's talk about that Oakland match first and foremost. There are things working, things maybe not as much. Let's talk about that one in particular. You dropped the set there. What was going on?
I take 100% blame for that because
I'm not putting blame.
I put a different lineup in that I thought we were going to try, and we were really uncomfortable. And Oakland played really well.
Yeah.
And so we were just sort of a half a step behind on everything. So we switched the lineup back to our normal lineup in set 2 and ended up winning the match.
And one of the things that emerged from that, and I think that maybe started to showcase itself throughout, and it culminated in the Michigan match we're going to talk about in a minute, was your blocking up front. It seemed like you were able to solidify some of the defensive presence at the net. Was that something that you were looking for and that was a focus going into this weekend?
Well, it's a focus almost every week.
Right.
It's our major tactical point is how are we going to block the other team. But what we were focusing on also all of last week was some fundamental blocking things where we need to get our hands in the right position. And that did work for us. We were better in that area. Mm-hmm. So we're going to continue to work on that too, because it's really important. It's one thing to be 6'6" like Kirsty is, but then she also needs to press. And she'll have more success if she presses. Kirsty's actually a better blocker against the more athletic teams. Really? The smaller ones, they hit what they call under her at times, and so she's got to learn to block those kind of players.
Well, I'm glad you talked about her because we'll talk with Kirsty Hillier in our next segment. But what did she do offensively? I mean, she's double-digit kills the entire time. She ends up hitting 500 against Michigan. Again, we'll go through that match in a moment. But obviously, she was getting a lot of good looks, and I'm going to ask her about that in just a few minutes.
Yeah,
do you find that her ability to get with Oleksak, the timing and the spacing is working itself out?
It's much better. And I had a talk with them about a week and a half ago, and I said to them at the time, because I felt like Katie was trying to distribute the offense and make other people work, and I said, I think I haven't been clear enough to you that Kirsty needs to be a major weapon for us. She needs to be the player that the other teams prepare for, and then the others can be successful off of that. And so we've been getting a lot more sets to her because of that, a lot more swing attempts, and Katie's locating it at places where she can get kills. So it's been working pretty well for us. And she's also hitting well. She's hitting behind the setter, the 1-foot takeoff stuff better. So that's been really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we look at the rematch with the Wolverines of the University of Michigan. It was a 3-set sweep, but it were very tight sets. And I just got the feeling that a lot of things came down to a play here or there. What was your impression of your team's performance?
Well, the first set came down to 6 aces by one player. I mean, that's what it was. So without those, we probably win that set. Second set, we stayed very close. We managed that server a lot better. But again, lost it at the end, and then the third set, Amanda got hurt, which messed us up a little bit. But throughout the course of that, both of our middles were playing very well. And Kirsty knows how to, she has another gear when she plays a team like Michigan, and she's physically better than Michigan's middles. And Katie was getting her the ball when we could. We couldn't get it to her all the time, but we're learning a lot.
Well, a deserved call-out. You called me Captain Obvious just a moment ago talking about a point here or there. Yeah. But the other thing that I'm going to drop into that, which I think was a defining factor of that match, were the extended point runs. Again, Captain Obvious here, extended point runs, give space, give comfort to teams. You let a few of those out. Those have been hard to find for CSU. It seems like finding extended 4, 5, 6 point runs against a good team. How do you get yourself into a position where you can get that comfort zone? You started out well, it all came back together, and then it fell apart at the end. How can you continue to get into a position where you can get extended, comfort?
Well, you starts with serving.
Okay.
Yeah. So serving, you have to find the risk window where you can serve tough, but you're getting them in and not missing, because we can serve tough and score 2 and miss the third. That happens a lot. And if every server on our team scored 2 and missed the third, we'd win every match we play.
Absolutely.
But it still doesn't feel comfortable when that's happening, because you start scoring points and you think, especially in a match, like the LSU match, they had a couple of very weak rotations, and we would do that. And I'm like, if we just get it in here, we'll score forever, But philosophically, I'm not going to allow myself to tell the team to just get it in, because we've been focusing so much on service pressure, and we're going to continue to do that. And it's working for us in certain situations.
Very briefly, looking ahead to this weekend, Colorado State returns here at Moby Arena, 6 o'clock against the Indiana State Sycamores, and then it's another tournament action. You got 2 matches coming up at Boulder. What do you expect for your team? What do you want to see as far as the growth of your team as we get closer to the Mountain West?
Well, we need to shore up some things in our serve-receive game. We need to be better on what we call controlling the controllables, which means balls that are controllable need to be very crisply handled, so that we can use this. We have this Cadillac at the setting position, and we need to be able to use her the right way, and you have to control the ball to do that. So that's important to us. And then, we need Kirsty and Paulina and Brianna to play well. But we also need the other 2 attackers to play well.
Right.
And sometimes we just don't set them. And that's not acceptable at this point. We have to distribute the ball well and give those guys chances to get kills.
Colorado State continues to play a very tough, challenging schedule here in the non-conference as they prepare to defend that Mountain West title, and it continues this weekend. Don't forget, we'll be right back here at 6 p.m. Against the Indiana State Sycamores. Get your tickets at csurams.com. Coach, thanks for your time.
You bet.
A lot of ground to cover, and we'll cover some more when we come back here on the Colorado State Volleyball Update as we talk with Kirsty Hillier next. Don't go anywhere.
We've all been there. Gridlock. But this is the 2018 Nissan Rogue. It's got Pro Pilot Assist and can stop and start on its own to help keep your distance from that car ahead, and can help keep you centered in your lane.
Get a low $199 per month lease or get 0% financing for 60 months on Rogue.
Now the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway.
You know what they don't say? If only I had done more banking. We know that life is about living. So go live, and we'll take care of the rest. We are Canvas Credit Union. Go live.
Rams and Buffs have been traveling the world with Semester at Sea since 1963. Semester at Sea Voyagers explore 10 to 13 countries across 4 continents in a once-in-a-lifetime semester. Whether you're a high school student, current undergraduate student, or an adult adventurer, we are now welcoming spring and fall applications. Visit semesteratsea.org to learn more about student and lifelong learner voyages. Best of luck to both teams.
Welcome back to Colorado State Volleyball Update. Pleased to be joined by Kirsty Hillier. Now, Kirsty, you had a great weekend in Michigan. First time you've been there, right?
Yes, never been there before. It was exciting.
What did you think about Michigan, first things first?
Well, I wasn't really sure what to expect because, obviously I've never been there, but I thought it was very beautiful. It was very green, and the humidity, I was not ready for all the humidity. It was a very humid place, and I was not expecting that. But other than that, it was a pretty good experience. Good
times. Well, speaking of good experiences, Kirsty Hillier has also been out traveling with the, multiple all-star teams, not only with the United States Olympic Development Team, but also with the Mountain West All-Stars. Volleyball has taken you a lot of places, not just Michigan, right? It's taken you overseas. You've seen some wonderful things, played some great volleyball. What's your experience been like that way?
Definitely. I never thought that I would be able to go travel to all the places that I have. It started my junior year of high school. I played for a U.S. team that traveled overseas, and from that point, I just knew that I fell in love with Europe. So it was really cool that I've been able to go back 4 more times, whether it be with our CSU team, whether it be for the U.S. national team, whatever team I was on. It was just such a cool experience that I was like able to go over there and go to visit so many different places and also play volleyball. Like, it's definitely influenced like how much I love the sport and how much I love to travel.
And not only that, it also influences your ability to compete because you're playing with a lot of really good players. You're meeting new players from all across the country. How has that experience shaped your game and maybe elevated you to the performance that you're enjoying here this season?
Yeah, I definitely think that it has made a difference because, especially so this last summer I played for the U.S. national team, and there's just so many amazing players on that team, and it's like each one pushes you to be your best, and you want to play like your best so that you can keep your spot or whatever for those 2 weeks that you're out there with them. And then also playing against the different teams from the different European countries, like the style of play is very different over there, and that's kind of cool to see. It's sometimes faster, sometimes slower pace, but being able to adjust to their game as well helps you to adjust to different things over here in the U.S. as well.
And that leads exactly into my next question for Kirsty. Bottom line is you got to come back. You have to defend a Mountain West title. Your roles maybe have changed up to this point. Let's stick with that line of questioning. What have you learned from playing with different people, playing overseas, different styles of volleyball that you've been able to translate towards improving here this season?
I think it kind of goes based off what I kind of said before. It's just you're able to adjust faster because you've seen a lot of different styles of play, and I think that's helped me going into this season, especially from this summer, that like there's a lot more to adjust to, and like I'm able to see it easier now, and especially after like a couple years of experience and stuff. So it's kind of exciting to go back into that and have a little bit more experience under there just to be able to see it.
Well, a lot of that is game court experience, but also one of the things that you're now more charged with doing is kind of leading the way things go in practice, setting the tone, making sure that you make sure that everyone is on the same page with you when you're playing, because you lost a bunch of senior leadership last year. How has your role changed off the court in developing this Ram squad?
I definitely feel the difference between how it's changed. We had some very influential players last year who left us, and so it's kind of who is going to step up this year, who's going to kind of take more of a leadership role. And I kind of wanted to be in that spot so that the team could just kind of like influence each other through that. And I think that it helps, like through the experience that I've had and stuff, just being able to, like, I know the game, I know what needs to be done, even if it's maybe not the position I play or whatever. So it's kind of cool to be able to like talk to my teammates about that, but they also listen, and it's just kind of cool because we can like you said, set the tone for each other, and like I can definitely help influence that.
How much has it been improving for you and the squad to have been playing with Katie Olekset, because the middle is only as good necessarily as her setter and her? Do you feel like you have a better camaraderie, that you're locked in, you can trust each other more?
Definitely. No doubt about that. Katie and I have been playing together for years, and through each summer we've also played together for different teams, so that camaraderie, that connection is very hard to make with different setters. And so the fact that Katie and I have played together for so long makes things so much easier to just step in there. She can trust me, I can trust her, and we can just get it going. As
we wrap up this conversation, after all the experiences that you've had, both overseas and over here, competing for championships, working your way through it, what did you do coming into this season to not only set yourself personal goals and challenge your team? What challenges did you set forth for you to accomplish and the Rams in this upcoming season? Because you're really on your way. Yeah. I think that's an easy one. First off, for the team is to take back that Mountain West title again. Well, not take it back, but take it again. Keep it, yeah.
And I don't know, just personal goals is just to stay elevated in the game, because we play some really tough teams in preseason, and then after preseason it goes back to the Mountain West, which has some teams that are really developing, and some of them will be pretty tough, but some of them are, let's just say, not as hard to play. Okay. So just being able to keep myself motivated to play and elevated to play at as high of a level as I can through each game that we play is definitely one of my personal goals.
And that's one of the keys, though. I mean, you mentioned about some of those teams that may be a little bit easier to handle. If you let your guard down for just a minute, you're going to get stung. And you can't win a championship getting stung when you take someone for granted. I know that you're a big proponent of trying to keep things on the up and up, right?
Yes, exactly. Can't let our guard down too much. We've learned that in the past.
Well, Kirsty Hillier, you had a fantastic tournament out in Michigan. You had a fantastic tournament here, and we're looking forward to a great upcoming Mountain West season. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
That's Kirsty Hillier, and we appreciate you joining us here on the Colorado State Volleyball Update. We'll see you back here next week. Thanks.